HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. We're going to deal with a few issues because tonight they're going to have the visual. Everybody going to come out for the 2-year-old girl that was slain, and I want to have this discussion because I've been watching the pundits and people talk about this, you know, and I seen one sister. She said, "Oh, he didn't want to be with her, or she didn't want to be with him, so that's why he did what he did." That's very superficial. You know what I mean? Because what he actually did was insane. We have an emerging mental health crisis in the black community. We been having it for a minute. That's why you're seeing the level of violence and insanity. You're misdiagnosing it. It's not criminal. It's insanity. There's a mental health crisis. Now, I'm going to show you just a couple of clips that's been happening. And if you've been watching the news, you've seen plenty. But I want to remind you, I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you one right quick. Check out this guy here.
On for the suspect in a triple shooting on Detroit's west side. The shooting left one person dead.
The gunman is still at large. Police say he is armed and dangerous. This all happened at a mobile gas station at West McNichols Road and Alpine Street. Jacqueline Francis has the update from the chief.
We're told the whole thing started over a $3 refund. The gunman was inside the gas station arguing with the cashier before he pulled out his weapon and shot 3 innocent bystanders. Detroit police want your help finding this man. He's accused of shooting 3 people, killing 1 at a gas station on McNichols around 3 Saturday morning. The suspect, seen here, had been fighting with the cashier.
It appears to be over a refund or some type of a very small dollar amount, approximately $3 they were arguing about.
The suspect took out his anger on 3 innocent bystanders. The cashier was not shot.
Tragic, ridiculous, unnecessary situation. 3 patrons at 3 a.m. in a store, and something like this happens. It's just unacceptable.
Police infiltrated the gas station looking for leads, releasing this photo of the suspect's vehicle along with his picture. They're asking for the community's help in tracking him down.
He is considered armed and dangerous. We have units on the street looking for him as we speak, and we will relentlessly pursue him and get him off the streets before he harms anyone else.
Meanwhile, the gas station has been shut down, unrelated to the shooting. The chief said they discovered the business was operating without a license. The main focus, finding this man.
Okay, this is another young black man. He gets to arguing. You hear it. He arguing with the clerk in the store that's behind the glass. He gets so mad at the clerk who he can't get to that he starts to shoot innocent people that's standing in line. They don't know him. They just came to get gas. And he started shooting. That's insanity. That's not criminal. There's no criminal aspect. That is mental illness. That is psychological damage to this individual. He has no impulse control. He has no rational thinking. And there was no woman involved or whatever. Because they keep trying to make it an issue that deals with gender and other things when this is a mental health crisis. You know what I mean? You got to think. These young black males, and a lot of them, they're raised, by their mothers. You know what I mean? That is where they learn how to balance and handle their emotions. But they're male. They have testosterone, which makes them aggressive. Testosterone makes you aggressive. That's why people who take steroids have what they call roid rage. So if you have an emotional, imbalanced young man who's never been taught to handle his emotions or taught that he couldn't cry or whatever abuse and traumas he's dealt with, he snaps and he's insane. That's a mental health issue. 90% of the whole community that black people live have PTSD. They have PTSD genetically passed down from generations. Their parents had PTSD. There's an emerging mental health crisis. And you can't gloss it up, because guess what? You'll be seeing more and more of this if you ignore that this is insanity. This is not criminality. They want to say that these are repeat offenders. Okay, that's not the case, because everybody is nonviolent until they snap and they do an act of violence. We're all about, in this society, coming after something has been done versus preventive measures, versus identifying these troubled people, these troubled men. You know what I mean? You have to look deeper. First of all, think about this. They say, scientists and doctors say, that the brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So these young people come into a world already toxic. The air that they breathe is toxic. The food that they eat is toxic. The water that they drink is toxic. You throw drugs, Molly, and synthetic weed on top of that, that brain will never develop into a rational, thinking, productive person based on the level of chemical, mental, and social imbalances. You will continue to see these young people go off and snap until we identify this as a mental health crisis. We're going to look at some more. We're going to go back to the most recent. Oh, we're going to look at the vigil. And I want you to look at the community.
The day you get your braces off is the best day ever. Tim, your smile.
And Dave, I imagine there was a very large crowd because so many people have been just touched by this situation.
Yeah, no doubt about that. From social media, people seeing news broadcasts of this all, not just across Michigan, but really around the country. So many people hoping that this was not the result. And while the FBI works on this case at the field office here in downtown Detroit, community members all across Detroit and beyond are trying to sort through their emotions. And tonight was one where they just let out all their pain.
This is not black people! This is not Detroit!
Raw grief and outrage on Detroit's east side as community groups come together for an emotional vigil honoring little Winter Cole Smith of Lansing. The precious 2-year-old's body was discovered in a nearby alley by Irwin Street after an exhaustive 3-day search. Winter went missing after suspect Rashad Trice waged a violent stabbing attack against her mother, according to investigators.
We're going to look at his face again. This young man is insane. This young man is insane. He was never taught how to accept rejection. He was never taught how to handle his emotions. He was never taught to control himself. And whatever drugs or other character defects he had, This is not a sane person. That's why when people are saying, I don't know how he could do this, I don't know how he can do this, because you would have to be insane to do what he did. To drive all the way to Lansing, stab his ex-girlfriend, take her baby, drive that baby all the way back to Detroit, and do what he did. At no point in time did he calm down. Did he analyze what he was doing? Did he think about what he was doing? He snapped. He snapped. And I'm not trying to offer no defense for him. He deserves everything he gets. But we have to stop ignoring what we're seeing in these young people. 11 mass shootings since July. 346 victims. We just talk about in mass shootings. All the carjacking. Think about these young black males that carjack you for an old car knowing they can't keep it. Risk their life and everything for a car that they know they can't keep. Think about how they do stuff in front of a camera knowing they're going to get caught. You don't think that's mentally ill? You don't think that these people is crazy? And it's not about this one case. We're going to fast. We're going to fast. I'm going to let you see some more of this and let you see the people out there and their outrage and their raw emotions.
Law enforcement pinged his cell phone and tracked his drive to Metro Detroit, eventually being led to this spot.
Let me let you know this, it is a fact. Evil transcends all color lines. You never know when evil may show up. You may be living with evil.
There's been too many of these, Detroit. I'm sick of seeing it. Black men, I'm sick of seeing it. It's time for us to step up and take back this village.
Balloons, teddy bears, and symbols of love mark the very same spot where just...
So you mean to tell me that you can stop these things from happening when you're not dealing with the root cause? Or is this just talk? Because you know how many visuals we've seen over the last decades about these same type of atrocities? The police can't stop it. The federal government can't stop it. The feds can't stop it. Because you're dealing with a high level of mentally ill people who suffer from PTSD, generational traumas, psychological disorders, drug addiction, fully toxic minds and bodies, and we will not address the root cause. Do you know that if you're a person who doesn't know how to manage your emotions, and you have all these psychological triggers, and you in a world that is evil and dark, how are we not going to see more of these if we don't deal with the insanity in our community? The culture dictates that we are insane people. Look at everything that we glorify. We make music And all the music that we love or the young people love is about deleting and destroying other young people that look like them. If you walked into a room full of white people and they was listening to a white artist and he was saying, I'm gonna smoke a white person, I'm gonna smoke a cracker, I'm gonna leave his brains on the street, I'm gonna do this, you would look at that white person and you say, he crazy. If you went into an Asian place and the Asians was, I'm gonna shoot a Chinese man, I'm gonna shoot a Korean, they ain't nothing woody woody woo, you would look at that person and say, that person crazy, these people is crazy. But it is acceptable in your community to listen to a whole genre of music that is totally directed at its own. Drill culture, drill rap. Can you see the level of insanity? That our favorite music is the music that talks about us dying, being deleted, and being destroyed, on top of everything else. If we don't deal with this, with these facts, there's no way we're going to be able to prevent this. There's no way. There's no way.
24 hours before, the FBI joined Detroit police in launching a massive crime scene as the most feared possibility came true. A family's desperate cling to hope crashing down into stunning sadness. Winter's aunt told the crowd how much the outpouring of love means to them.
And on behalf of the family of Winter Cole Smith, I would like to thank every one of you, each and every one of you, every friend, every family member, every organization, everyone that's standing here today. We'd like to thank you. We're so grateful for all of your support. We're so grateful for all of your love, your condolences.
That's why my heart is filled with praise. There were songs of praise and then a release of balloons into the heavens as so many still ponder the big question, why?
They're killing women, because they don't want to be with you. I mean, they doing things like this, killing the babies just to torture the mother.
I'm going to stop right there when she said that. Why did she even say they're doing something to women because they don't want to be with you? I just showed you that they're deleting everybody. Old people, old men, kids, their peers, babies. She just blurred the issue. She just played the gender politic in the face of clear, sheer insanity. That's how backwards we is. You know how many black people, majority of men, were deleted since the 4th of July weekend? One mass shooting, they shot 30 people. So to interject a gender politic is to gloss over everything that we need to do to stop this. Do you know that a week ago, some white guy lined his 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 6-year-old up and shot them all execution style? We have to address this emerging mental health crisis, this insanity. This is insanity at its finest. This is not criminal. This is insane behavior, demonic behavior, evil behavior. Do you know that in most mental institutions, and this is the fact, talk to people that has worked in mental health institutions with the mentally deranged. Do you know that most of the nurses and the orderlies being there, they be trying to pray and do seances because they be dealing with people that they consider demonically possessed? All of that. I don't know if you really understanding what I'm saying. They want to make sense of. They want to oversimplify. When you're dealing with insanity, you're dealing with imbalanced people. This young man was imbalanced. He was imbalanced. You can call him crazy, but there you will not find a reason that you can attribute to what he did. If you keep looking for a reason to what he did, why don't you look at his criminal history and see all the things he had done prior to that? Before he ever got to this level. So you're going to keep letting the media and letting the powers that be tell you that it's not something in the air, it's not something in the water, it's not something in the culture, what you call black culture. You know how many times we've seen these vigils and these outrages and these marches? How can you stop people from snapping? That means you have to be in every household. You have to be everywhere, all the time, all seeing, all knowing. And I'm not making it, because I don't want you to get in my comments and say I'm putting it on men or I'm putting it on single mothers. I'm telling you for a fact that if you raise a young man all the way up into puberty who does not have emotional control, impulse control, and self-control, he will be a danger to his community. He doesn't have balance. And I'm going to let you make out of that what you want to make out of that. But if you think that you can stop this with talk and not prevention, why are we not talking about prevention? How do you prevent this? How do you prevent this level of psychosis? This type of crazy? If you really want to stop, you have to stop oversimplifying it. You have to look that there is a mental health crisis. In Michigan, you know what Governor Engler did? Governor Engler closed all the insane asylums and put the people in the insane asylums into prison, gave them time, and then released them back on the community. Clearly insane. No. Give them Thorazine, Prozac, lithium, you name it. Put them out there and they don't even have money to go get those meds to maintain. So this is just my perspective. And it's not a justification for anything that this guy did or any other person did. But I think we being disingenuous if we trying to simplify it by saying this is crime, when clearly this is a high level of insanity, spiritual darkness, and other issues that go way beyond how we trying to simplify it. Now, what we can do is patrol our communities and try to be on point. But what you do when somebody just snapped? When the people was in that store waiting in line to get their gas, they had no idea that this guy was going to snap and start just shooting them for nothing. When the people went to the block, to that block party, they didn't know that somebody was going to come there and just shoot 30 people for no reason. I think there's some other issues that we're ignoring. That's just my opinion. This is one man's opinion. Signing to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe to the video. This is one man's opinion. And condolences to all the families and the families to come. Peace. Keep y'all here on the swivel around here.